benefited the team greatly with Carl coming on board as assistant coach, Greg staying on as assistant coach as well. The net minding duties will be primarily down to Greg, and coaching the goalkeepers and really encouraging them and pulling them up, especially with young Ben coming on board with the Tigers this season. I think Greg's input in coaching in the coaching of Ben will be very beneficial in the future. And obviously carrying Greg as our third goalkeeper as well, which there's not many teams in the league can carry a third import goalkeeper, which is really beneficial for the team. And Carl's vastly experienced. He came with me in 1985 to Telford. He's been around the league, he's played, he's coached last season, his first season coaching in Flintshire. I think he's got a lot to bring to the club, and I know Tommy's really excited of working alongside Carl on the coaching side of things, yeah. Slowly to start with, myself and Tom started quite early on in the season, quite early on in the close season, before Carl came on board, but now Carl's taken a lot more lead role with that with Tom. Tom's done a hell of a job in the summer. I haven't really done a great deal other than supporting Tom, looking at certain players, looking if they could benefit our team, looking at certain aspects of what they're going to bring to our team. And I think we've done quite a good job with the players that we've actually brought in, the new guys that are coming in, the imports that will actually, well, one of the imports we've signed and brought in, the other guys we're actually looking at this moment in time. It's been interesting. Like I say, it was slow to start with, we were panicking a little bit, but then it all just started to snowball, and it's really good. I think next season the squad that's going to be out on the ice is going to be strong. It's going to be physically stronger, physically larger team this season. With the guys that have come on board with us this year, the big lads. They are big lads. I'm 5'7" and they tower over me. They're good 6 foot lads. Our input, what we've brought in so far, he's a big lad, big defenceman, big name, and it's building very strong squad. I think we're going to surprise a few teams this season. I think we exceeded our expectations last season by beating every single team in the league, beating the top teams. We weren't the whipping boys. On some games we were, but throughout the season we weren't the whipping boys. Even though we finished last, we didn't deserve to finish last. With the games that we lost by 1 goal and 2 goals, and in the overtime, we would have been in the playoff spot if you'd added them totals up. Expectations for this season are going to be the same as last season. But I honestly thought last season we had a chance of making the playoffs. I honestly think we've really got a good chance of making the playoffs, and that will be the expectations this season. Is we exceeded the points last season that we had the season before, and we've got to do it again this season. If we do it again this season, I think we will finish up in the playoffs. Dragging and screaming, I think it was. I took quite a number of years out from hockey, from when I retired as a coach. I'm a little bit disappointed to retired from hockey, and my last team was the Solihull Barons, which was I'm not a Telford lad, I'm a Sheffield lad, but my heart is in Telford. I've been here since '85, so Telford is my home. To finish my hockey career as a coach in Solihull left a little bit of a bitter taste. So I stayed away from hockey. I kept an interest when Dave was running the Tigers, and I always kept close to the ground and finding out what was happening. When the the trust was formed, I was a little bit sceptical to start with. I was thinking, how's this going to happen? I saw what Telford United had achieved. Could we achieve it in hockey? I don't know. Proof would have been in the pudding. Last season, I came on board. I came on board as a board member, and after watching the first season, I knew that there were people there working for the club. There wasn't no fat cat at the top taking bags of money out of it. Every bit of money that we generate goes straight to Tom into the playing fund, and that's what I want to be part of. I'm a British guy. I'm all for British ice hockey, complemented with decent imports. and that's what it's all about, and that's why I've come back, and that's why I'm getting more involved. It's like chalk and cheese. It's totally different. As a player, you've got you're not responsible for anything other than training and producing the products on the ice week in, week out. That's tough enough, but in management and in away from the ice, you've got to run it off the ice. It's what the product you put on the ice, you've got no control of. The control is that you've got to make sure that the club is running successfully, financially, and it's difficult. Luckily, I've been in that position before when I was the when I was the coach and managing director. I was the coach and general manager of the Tigers in '97. So I've got a little bit of an insight of what Tom has to go through and what I can help with Tom. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it as being the team manager and liaising with his players, and that's what Tom's had to do. And it's a case of helping Tom out and making sure the guys do what they need to do off the ice as well as on the ice. History of the Telford Tigers is the Telford Tiger team, and we hummed and hawed and we asked a lot of people if we thought it was the right marketing strategy to go back to the Telford Tiger team, and the consensus was yes. So as a board, as a club, as a trust, we made the decision that it would be in the best interest to go back to the Telford Tiger team. For history reasons, I've used the Telford Tiger team over the last few years in charity games, in the Jubilee game, and it was the shirts that we had that night sold. We tried it out this season in the orange replica shirts, in the orange third shirt. They sold, and there is people associate the Telford Tigers with the Telford Tiger team. Commercially, I think it's a good decision. Promotionally, I think it's a good decision, and I think it's going to go from strength to strength with the Telford Tiger team. People recognise it. Okay, even 10, 15 years on, there's still bad memories of that Telford Tiger team, but I think it's been away for a while now. I think it's the right time to bring it back, and I think it's the right decision to bring it back. I had a site visit. Myself and Tom had a site visit this morning with Ron McClellan, the rink manager, and it was quite sad to look at the old place. But I think the new place is going to be absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're not getting new seating or anything like that, but the ice pad, we're getting a new French company's coming in. It's new flexi boards. We're losing the main bar. That's been turned into a main restaurant. But the old Tiger fans will remember the old Stagger Inn. The old Stagger Inn is going to be the main bar now. It's not going to be a bottle bar from what I've been told this morning. It's going to be a proper pump bar. And we're going to get the Telford Tiger tea in the centre of the ice as well, which is going to really, it's going to look great. It's going to look brighter. It's not going to be pink. It's going to be very bright, new lighting. And I think when we walk into it in the start of the season, well, hopefully by the start of the season, I think when we walk in, it's going to look fantastic. I think it's going to be the showpiece of ice hockey in Telford again, like it was in '85. It was a brand new rink. It's going to be a brand new rink again. It's going to be fantastic. And I think that will lift the players as well, and hopefully the supporters. Like I said earlier, I think if we make the playoffs this season, I think that would be a good success. We're only 3 years into the sorry, I keep saying consortium. I don't know if it's going through my brain. We're only this is the third season of the trust, and there was a lot of doubters out there. Is this going to work? Me being one of them. And the success is us being put back onto the ice again this season. Last season we finished the season not owing anybody a penny, paying us way, good sponsors, attracting decent crowds. We'd like to attract a few more people into the rink, which does help, and it generates a lot more money. So success is that we will go out. The success for me this season is that we're going back out on the ice at the start of the season with a full squad, full complement of imports, and we've got money in the bank, and we can really build on that. And that's what the trust and the the cooperative is all about, is that we are going to build for the future. It's not, we haven't got just a 1-2 year plan. This is a 5-10 year plan. Sustainable ice hockey in Telford, sustainable professional ice hockey in Telford. That's the key to it. Personal successor for this year, I'd like us to make the playoffs. And I think if we make the playoffs, it's a different season, new season starts again. And who knows, Coventry maybe, be nice. Funniest moments, yeah, I think was watching Jason Hannigan skate out with sparklers in a top hat. That was hilarious. The team didn't know what was happening. He was being announced last, and he came out with a black cape, a top hat, and sparklers stuck out. And it was it was funny, so funny, embarrassing as well. But he was a good player. You had to drop the gloves and spar up to guys as well. But that was really funny, really funny. And watching Lando do Bolero with Dean Vogel saying referees were late, and Lando and Vogie said we've got to do something, and it was just after Telford had done the Bolero, and they went out and did the Bolero to the crowd. Bearing in mind we had nearly 2,500 people in, and the place was just erupting, and that was just you couldn't see it, you'd never see it again. That was funny. It was great team and great times. There's been so many. Cal Land is just a character on the ice, but I think skill-wise and performance-wise, I think it's not just one. It's Salmon and Conway. Played on a line with them. Goldie played on a line with them. Just phenomenal players. And to have the privilege of playing with those guys and to win the championship with those guys as well, they were class players. You used to like Conway in this country, and watching him team up with Mario Belanger, he was a class player. So I'd say Kevin Conway is my best player I've ever played with, partnered with Tim Salmon. There's been so many tough games that I played in and tough teams we played against. And going back to the championship winning team, playing against Cardiff in the playoffs, they didn't let us win easily, and it was tough. And playing against Billingham in the playoffs as well, and they were tough teams, a lot of tough teams. Going into Solihull, the battles we had in Solihull, battles we had at our rink against Solihull. So I'd say the toughest team I've ever played against is the early years of the Solihull Barons, because they were so competitive, so aggressive. There was no love lost between us and Solihull, and they were tough games, really tough games.